Hi, my name is Bunny Cakes and welcome back to my channel. Um, the book I'm going to be reviewing today is called Strange Brew. It is a compilation of 9 short stories that were edited by P.N. Elrod. This is what the book looks like. I absolutely loved this book. Every single story left me wanting more, even the one story that I had problems with. I do believe I gave this a 4 out of 5 on my Goodreads. Um, let me go through the stories that are in it. I made notes. The first story is called Seeing Eye by Patricia Briggs. It is about a blind witch and a werewolf who come together on a rescue mission to rescue the werewolf's brother. It is a really, really good story, and I would love to not only read what happened before, but read what happened after. As soon as I read this story, I knew that if every other story was at least half as good as this story, that I was going to love this book. The second story is called Last Call by Jim Butcher. It is a story about a veteran of the Wizarding Wars, um, who has become somewhat of a cop, and the story starts with him after a long day at work, and he just wants nothing more than a good beer at his favorite bar, and that's not what happens. He walks in on the tail end of a scene of chaos, and um, more cops get called, and they realize that there's this huge conspiracy going on, and it's just, it's so funny and so well done. And at the end of the story, you still just, you're right there with him, and you just want him to finally get that beer that he really wanted and he so deserves. um the third story is called Death Warmed Over by Rachel Kane. It involves all of the stories in this book involve witches or vampires or werewolves, and sometimes it's all of the above or some mixture of the above. Um, Death Warmed Over by Rachel Kane is about a resurrection witch who finds herself to be the next victim of a serial killer. And she has to use she's being targeted because of her powers, and she uses her powers to protect herself in some ways, not in the ways you would expect. um it's got a love story, and it, to me, seems to have a throwback to some of, like, those old noir stories. Like, it's set, it I believe, around the 50s or so. That may be another story I'm thinking of. But it seems to be set like that. And it's so good. And it ends in a completely different way than you expect it to. And to be such a short story, it makes you feel so many emotions. And I loved it. And I wish there were more of it. And I will be somewhat stalking the author to see if I can find more similar content. The fourth story is called Vegas Odds by Karen Chance. Um, it takes place also during a Wizarding War, and it follows a female wizard who is half were, and she's in a position where she trains new war mages, and she goes through the story with her boyfriend, and they end up being targeted by, and um going up against a spy that has infiltrated the good side of the war. And um, it's it's got some twists and turns that you wouldn't expect for such a short story, and there's a lot of detail, and it does get a little raunchy. There's some sexiness in this. Um, I believe I picked this up in the young adult section, but I'm not sure, especially because this story, there's a bit of a sex scene, and it seems a bit more adult than what I'm used to seeing in YA because of that one sex scene. So it's not necessarily for your younger audience. Every other story, probably, I mean, there's some violence, but you definitely probably don't want younger kids to look at it because there's blowjobs involved. um, the story after that is called Hecate's Golden Eye. It's by P.N. Elrod, the person who edited this book. Um, it is definitely like old school film noir detective stories. It's about a vampire and a private detective who are contracted by a woman to get back a heirloom gem that the woman was that she inherited. It's a really good story, and there's a good twist to it, and it's funny, but it's also serious, and it's just a fun story. And the vampire in it is done like some of the old school vampires. Like, he can't be seen in mirrors, and he doesn't sparkle, and he can turn into an invisible mist at will, and it's just cute and fun, and I loved it. The next story was called Bacon by Charlene Harris. Um, the little blurb about the author says that she is the woman who wrote the books that eventually became the TV show True Blood. Um, it's a vampire and werewolf revenge story, and I did like it, and I would like to read more. But the one problem I had with this was that with the main character, they seem to be trying too hard to make her seem dark and edgy. I still loved it, and I would read more, but that's just the way I felt about that character. It seemed like it was just a try-hard character, and it kind of put me off. I'm sorry, I'm still dealing with sinuses. Um, the next story was called Ginger by Caitlin Kitteridge. Um, it is a story about a werewolf cop and a and her sister, who's a witch, who come up against a organized crime family, or well, it's kind of disorganized, but it starts out there at the trial for the former dawn of the organized witchery crime families, and it ends up where they come up against the woman named Ginger who is trying to fill the power vacuum that's been created by the original Dawn being taken down. The next story was called Dark Sins by Jenna McLean. It was really good. This is the last story in the book. It is about vampires who are also vampire hunters, and they have an honor system where they don't kill humans, but they find themselves coming up against an evil coven of human witches and it makes them question when it's right and wrong to kill even humans. Um, it's a really good story, and it seems like the beginning of like a really good book. Like the story is complete and it's good, but it seems almost like the first chapter of a really good book. And I kind of wish that it was, because it's another one where like I am so thirsty for more of that story. Um Overall this book, I think, yes, I believe I said earlier that I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I couldn't give it the full 5 stars because of my issues with the try hard character. um, but it's a really good book, and I highly recommend it, just not for a super young audience. It's definitely the adult side of young adult. um, because of the sex scene. And it doesn't get terribly graphic, but it's there. And I know a lot of people don't want their younger kids to see sexy stuff. So there's that. Um, that's really all I have to say about it. So if you like my reviews and my other content, please subscribe to my channel. Please also follow me on my social media. It'll be linked down below. And if you like this particular video, please hit the thumbs up button. And if you didn't, please hit the thumbs down button. And leave me a comment. Tell me what you liked. Tell me what you didn't like. Have you read this book? Do you want to read this book? Would you like to read the rest of the series, or have you? Can you find it? Because I can't. I'm probably going to have to buy it. So, thank you for staying here and watching with me, and I will see you in the next video.